Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So this is part 3 of 4 of the 12 Steps to Spiritual Awakening. I'll link the first and second part of these videos down below in the description, as well as I will list the 3 that we are working on today, that we're talking about today. You're working on all of them continuously, probably. Okay, so I'll repeat the 1 through 6 and then we'll delve into 7, 8, and 9, okay? So 1 is, I admit I am powerless and that my life has become unmanageable. I have come to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. I have made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand Him. I have made a searching and fearless moral inventory of myself. I admit to God, to myself, and to another human being the exact nature of my wrongs. I am entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Okay, so now we move to number 7. I've humbly asked Him to remove my shortcomings, which are my flaws, defects, imperfections in my character. I humbly asked Him to remove my shortcomings. So this would seem like it's pretty easy, like it's one of the first things you gotta do, right? I've asked Him to remove my shortcomings. Well, first you have to know what those are, right? And that's where step number 4 comes in, where you've made a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself. And now, after you've made that inventory, you're like, ooh, I do this, this, and this. I believe this, this. I think these and these thoughts, right? So I've asked Him to remove my shortcomings. They are no longer serving me. If I'm judgmental, when I've made that moral inventory of myself, if I've been judgmental throughout my life, in that inventory, I've realized, gosh, that really doesn't serve me anymore, does it? What good has come out of me being judgmental or angry or... Forgive any noise out there, by the way. I apologize. What have these shortcomings done for me that are positive? Not much. They keep me in anger. They keep me in depression. They keep me emotionally unavailable, detached emotionally. So I don't want them anymore. They're my, because these shortcomings, these flaws, right? And these aren't physical flaws. These aren't scars or a lot of extra weight or, you know, a big nose. These aren't the flaws we're talking about. They're imperfections in character. These are internal flaws. Oof, those are hard to see. Sometimes. Sometimes others can see them before you can within yourself. So listen to what other people tell you when they say, gosh, you're a jerk. Wow, you shouldn't have, you sounded really mean. And you don't even know Notice it. That's where your moral inventory comes in, and where you begin to see the things that you do and say and your actions and all of that. And you start to realize, ooh, I don't like that about myself. And obviously others don't like it about me either. More importantly, I don't like that about myself. Because I need to love myself as I am. And I don't want to love those flaws within me. So I need them removed. I need help removing them. And that's basically what that is I'm asking for help. I need you to remove them because I'm not doing a good job of it. I recognize that I have these weaknesses, that I have these flaws, that I have these things that I cannot, that aren't easy for me to change about myself. So please, can you help me out? Help a brother out. Help a sister out. Right? Humbly. These words are chosen very, very carefully. I humbly asked him to remove my shortcomings. Humbly. Because I'm down on my knees here. I recognize that I am not able to do this on my own. I am not the master of my domain. Any Seinfeld fans? I'm a freak. I remember everything about Seinfeld. So yeah. You need help with that. And he, it, she, whatever you call it, will gladly do it for you. Because if you're coming from a place of humility, of understanding that I don't like this about myself, but gosh, I'm having a hard time finding the way to fix it. Can you help me out? Okay? And it's not that instant. I believe that we heal ourselves. God, the universe, divine source, energy guides us, gives us the inspiration, gives us the clarity. How do we receive the clarity from divine source, higher source? By doing the work that we have to do, by meditating, right? It's all connected. And ultimately, yes, I am the master of my domain because I'm doing the work, the hard work. Universe can't do it for me. Universe can send me people, videos, ideas, dreams that help guide me in the direction that I can fix them myself. So the universe isn't going to just go ding with a magic wand. Ding, they're gone. What that means is I'm ready to receive your guidance. Because how empowered are you when you can do that yourself? How, not in an ego way, feeling proud, in a spiritual way, feeling proud. Yes, you needed a little help. We all do. We all need a little guidance. We all need clarity. And sometimes we can't provide it for ourselves. So we ask for guidance. And that's where that comes in. The dream, random dream. There's nothing random about anything in life. It's all this intricate, beautiful web. So, yeah. All right. Number 8. I have made a list of all persons I have harmed and have become willing to make amends to them all. Let that sit in your brain for a little bit. I've made a list of all persons that I have harmed and have, part 1, I've made a list of all persons that I have harmed. Part 2, and I've become willing to make amends to all of them. What is making amends? I'm so sorry about that damn TV. Oof, challenges left and right. Challenges. Life is all about challenges. As I see 11:11 on my screen. Making amends. What does that mean? Apologizing for what you've done wrong. Providing closure to the people who you've harmed. This is one of the... No, the next one's the hard one. 8 and 9 are hard. 9 is the hardest. 9, we'll get to it. Excuse me. First, you gotta make your list. Literally, sit down, make a list. Go as far back as you can. This has many steps to it, right? I've made a list of all persons that I have harmed. Well, shit. What does harmed mean? You define what harmed means. Whether it was physical harm, emotional harm, spiritual harm. Only you know what that means for you. For every person, that word harm will mean something different, probably. And this list can be as, I mean, it depends on how deep you want to go with harm. Like a sarcastic comment, for example, can be harmful to someone because it hurts their feelings. Are you going to go that far on your list? Maybe. If that makes you feel better, why not? Those might be easier to knock out. Hey, I'm sorry I made that sarcastic comment. I was a real jerk. You didn't deserve that. Check. Let's make it easy. Leave the hard ones, right? The person whose heart you broke, that requires a little bit more thought. Why did I... Because now you're thinking of the person, you're defining what harm means to you. You're defining what harm means to you. You're then identifying the people that fall under the category of what you think is harm. And you're delving into each of them. What exactly did you do to them? Why did I do it? Why did I do it? What was I feeling? Well, why did I do that? And then that why, for that one person, this can be quite an involved process here. If you really want to heal and walk like you're a feather walking flying in the breeze, you got to do this fucking deep work. Forgive my cursing. You got to do it. It's the only true processing that will liberate you of stuff. The stuff that's just holding you down, holding you back, holding you in that pain. Release it. So you got to do the work. You're identifying what harm means to you. Only you can define it. You can't ask your friend, hey, what does harm mean to you? Maybe you could ask them, and maybe it helps guide you in how to define it for yourself. But you have to define what harm means to you, because you're the one that has to go through the process. It's your own internal processing. What does harm mean to me? How did I harm? I don't know if you want to start from now to back to childhood, or if you want to start in childhood, come up to now. You decide how you do it, whatever helps you go through your process, right? Everybody's process is different. Some people stand out and they're right in the middle of the past years of your life. They're in the middle somewhere. They're not in a linear chronological order. It's up to you to decide. Some people stand out in your head. You immediately know, oh man, I hurt that person. I know I hurt that person. Put them first on the list. Go from most harmed to least harmed. Least harmed to most harmed, however you want to do it. It's a personal choice. Include people who've passed away, by the way. Include them in there. Doesn't matter. Include them if you have no way, if they live like in the middle of the Amazon and you're never going to be able to contact them physically, put them on the list. Don't just put the convenient people that you're going to be able to text. Okay? Put everybody that you have harmed on that list. And then you're going to look at each person and you're going to go back to that moment that you believe you harmed them. Why did I do that? What was I going through that I did that? Are you regretful? Are you feeling ashamed about it? Are you feeling sad and I wish I hadn't done that? That person didn't deserve that. Or, yeah, they did deserve it, but I shouldn't have done it anyway. Because that could be the case. What did that person do to bring that out of you? You're allowed to think that. You're allowed to process it from your point of view, from their point of view, however you need to do it. All of the ways. Do it all. Write it down if it helps you. If you don't think you have a good memory, write it down. Write keywords, And then once you've done that for all of the people that you think you've harmed, within reason, there's also, you can also do a separate list of people that you hung to your horn at because they didn't react fast enough at the green light. You can include those in a big group and you can release and apologize to them, to their spirit, right? It's going to be impossible for you to absolutely apologize to everyone that you've harmed, whether it's a light harm or a heavy harm, right? You have to be realistic. But the ones where you had direct interaction with that caused a person pain and it did, even if you were in anger, if you were in pain yourself, it doesn't matter. Both people were in pain, both people were angry, both people were uncooperative, both people were contributing to this thing that happened. That's fine. Don't worry about what they did. Don't worry about what their role was. Don't be like, but they did this, so I was justified. No. Because you have free will, and someone could be in your face just screaming at you. If you are a centered human being with your spirit, you would not react. You would allow them to vent their frustration, and you wouldn't take it personally. So if you reacted because you weren't prepared spiritually at that moment, that's fine. Forgive yourself. That's the next step. Go through your list. Define what is harm for you. Identify the people you have harmed, how you harmed them, why, what were you going through. Delve deep. Ask yourself questions that I'm not even mentioning. You have to do this work for yourself. I can't do it for you. I'm just guiding you and helping you, okay? I'm trying to help you. Once you've identified all of that, you have to look at yourself, what was going on with you at that time, and you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself because you didn't know any better back then, because you were not a person that was pursuing their spiritual truth, their spiritual path at that time. So the person that you were then, you are no longer. So you, as the person you are today, going through this process, which not everyone can do, but should, this person you are now looks back at that person you were then, and you forgive them for what they did. You're forgiving yourself for what you did at that time. That's what allows you, when you forgive yourself, that's what allows you to become willing to make amends to them all. When you forgive yourself first, then you can forgive them. You can ask them for forgiveness. When you forgive yourself first, then you can apologize and ask for forgiveness. This is a very difficult step, but it's fucking beautiful. And then there's number 9. I have made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Let's look at that one. This could be many scenarios, but let's see how we can dissect that one a little bit. So I've made direct amends. I've contacted the people that I'm able to. I've made direct amends to such people wherever possible. So the people that I'm able to contact in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a letter, I recommend, I'm old-fashioned in that way, I suppose. I like writing things down because it's a written word that provides evidence of your amends. There's evidence that someone has to look at, and they can look at it as many times as they want. Or they can rip it up and toss it. That's their choice. But it does something for you as well, writing things down. in your own handwriting. It takes time to do that, to make it look as nice as possible, as legible as possible. It's doing something to you. You're putting a piece of yourself on there. Your energy is going into the pen, into the ink, and onto the paper. And when they pick it up, your energy is on it. I don't know, I'm romantic. If it's a card you're sending, choose wisely. Choose it wisely. Don't be haphazard. Choose wisely. I made amends to one person, and it wasn't a satisfactory amends to my satisfaction. I chose a card that spoke to me. It took me many tries, many attempts. I went to probably 10 different stores to find the right card. And I saw that one and I was like, I think this is the one. You know, I made the effort. And I wrote my words, and it wasn't enough. I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't satisfied with it, but it was enough for me to be able to at least begin a process. It wasn't a satisfactory amends. A satisfactory amends would take several cards, several pages, right? A full-on detailed communication, conversation. But that was, for me, satisfying enough. I sent it without expectations. That's part of this. A letter, a card, if you must, an email, if you must, even further, a text. I would just avoid all that. Or a phone call. Or an in-person visit. I would not just show up at someone's house. I wouldn't just show up at someone's house. I would call them first, and I would tell them, you have to do this in your own way. But you would communicate with the person that you'd like to speak to them, if they wouldn't mind meeting you somewhere to have a private conversation. You put that in your own words. If they agree, then you meet somewhere, and then you can have an in-person conversation, which can be a beautiful thing, or not. It depends on what it was and how much you really shouldn't communicate with someone until you've done the first part of this that I talked about, writing it down, thinking about what you did, forgiving yourself first. Don't attempt to call someone just because you've reached step 9 and you're like, I'm calling him. No. Don't do that. I don't recommend you do that. You have to take, these are tiny little Lilliputian baby steps. Okay? But yeah, have that conversation without expectations. It doesn't say it on there, but I'm telling you. Do not have expectations. If you're sending the letter, for example, or a card, send it. Save yourself some heartache here. Save yourself some extra stuff to deal with. Send it without expecting a response. So only do it when you're ready for that to happen. Be honest with yourself. Because if you do not get a response, you're going to feel hurt. You're going to feel whatever you feel. If you do not get a response, do not take it personally. Because you're undergoing these steps and these changes, but that doesn't mean the other person is. You don't know what their life is. Even if you know them and see them every day, You don't know an internal process of someone's life. So you don't know what they're going through. So if you're sending this thing to this person and they do not respond, don't take it personally. And don't make assumptions either. Don't assume that they've read it and have said, this prick thinks why is this bitch contacting me? Don't assume things that you don't know. I mean it. Don't do it. It'll mess with your head, and it will take you back a few steps in your journey. It'll add things for you to now process. It'll take time out of your life. So just whenever you really are ready, forge ahead with the next step. Never take it personally. Never make assumptions. That's very important, because just think about it. Person A hurt person B. Person A was in a relationship with person B. And person A, I'm just an example. Person A cheated, broke person B's heart. Of course, this no longer was happening. Person B went away, or person A went away. Now person A is going through these steps, and I forgive myself, I was a jerk, I was in pain myself, I didn't know what I was doing, I was just in the moment, I was all about what felt good, or wasn't, whatever your processing is, you want to make amends, you want to apologize to this person. So you take your time and you choose the perfect card that will speak to their heart, or that they'll smile about or laugh, whatever. Choose wisely. Because this is serious contact you're making. So choose wisely. You're contacting, so now you send a letter. Person B gets the letter. What? Now this person is going through a myriad of reactions, of thoughts, of feelings, of all of it. Now their shit's being stirred. Okay? Don't expect them to immediately respond to you, or ever. You have to be okay with your communication being enough of a reparation, of an amends for you to move on from that harm that you caused. Because now they have to process things, or not. They could be like, fuck you. I don't want to hear from you. In the garbage. And not another thought is given to it in that moment. But there will come a time when that person starts to think about that. Or not. And you have to be okay with the or not. You cannot be waiting, expecting, hoping. Let it go. Let it go. You have to. You have to be ready for no response from the person that you make amends with. You have to be okay with it. That's why this is so difficult. The whole freaking thing is difficult. If the harm that you caused another person was extremely traumatizing, how do you define traumatizing? I don't know. You know. If you meditate on the event Spirit will tell you how traumatizing it was to that person and to you. If making amends with someone you have traumatized would cause a trigger in them, would cause even further harm because you don't know what their spiritual life is, don't contact them. Except when to do so would injure them or others. I don't know what or others. If you're apologizing to someone and they're an abusive person, will that trigger them to abuse someone, to hurt someone else? Gosh, it's hard to tell sometimes, right? You have to make that assessment for yourself by meditating and contemplating very hard. That's why this is such a difficult step and such an important step. This will liberate you. If it's someone who, gosh, there could be many scenarios where strong, heavy types of abuse, that would just be a breaking point for someone if they get contacted by their abuser. Choose wisely. In that scenario, it doesn't say it here, but in that scenario, I would write the letter and I would make a little ritual of it. Write the letter as if you were speaking to them. Read it out loud in a sacred space for yourself. Read it out loud. Light incense, spray yourself with Palo Santo essential oils. Make it a sacred ritual. Read it. Feel the emotions behind it, because you will. And then burn it and let the ethers take it. Pray to the universe, pray to God that the person can feel your remorse, that the person can feel your regret, your apology, and let it go. You can do that. The same for people who've passed on that you hurt and you didn't have opportunity. Do the same. Write the letter, read it in a sacred ritual moment, and set it on fire and let it go. Now, be careful with the fire, please. I'm not encouraging burning things. Do it in a safe situation. Use common sense. Make it a little ritual for yourself and let it go. That's what I recommend. It's powerful shit. It's powerful. So, I've humbly asked him to remove my shortcomings. I have made a list of all persons I have harmed and have become willing to make amends to them all. I have made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. What you're doing is an amazing, amazing process. It's beautiful. We're not perfect. As human beings, we're not perfect, but our soul is perfect. Our spirit is perfect, and we have to attain to connect more with that part of ourselves that is perfect and that does not harm others and that loves ourselves and others unconditionally. That's what this process is about. Reconnecting with that part of yourself that is connected directly to Source, because it is Source. Okay? I hope that this was helpful. So in the last video of this series, we'll do steps 10, 11, and 12. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me comments or questions below. My soul embraces yours. Namaste. Till next time. Bye.